y'all, it's How Fine is Jasmine. We're reacting to Ari Fletcher says no to traditional marriage, and this came out like a month ago, and I just want to make a video on it because I think it's an important topic about women. So let's get it. Subscribe, comment, like. How Fine is Jasmine.
So I want to get married, but like spiritually.
So
like,
okay, it's called a commitment ceremony. I was thinking the same
commitment
thing.
ceremony.
Okay, and let me chime in when y'all get through. Go
Like
ahead.
I don't want.
That was low-key shade. I'm sorry, this is off topic, but I love when classy women throw shade because it just be so underhanded. It's like, you really have to catch the shade. I love classy women. Monica, classy girl. I love her.
I don't want to sign the paper. I don't want it to be. Why we gotta go to the law to get married? Like I don't want them in my business.
You don't
like,
you want marriage, but you only want it in certain conditions, and I feel like that's what's wrong with everybody right now. They want something, but they don't want what comes with it. Then that means you don't want it. If you want marriage under a certain circumstance, then you don't want marriage for real. Because there's a lot of things that happen in marriage after you get married that you don't want to happen, but it's going to happen out of the fact that a lot of shit just happened. So what, you're going to give up when those things happen? Like, pay close attention to people that like and only want to do something when it conveniences them.
right?
Okay, so that's funny you say that because I looked it up because I was thinking the same thing. I looked it up. I was like, what is it? I don't want to be out here fornicating, but I want to be married under God for the rest of my life, you know. But I want to have my person. It's called a commitment ceremony. It's under God, but it's not under law. And I was like, so
okay, that's what we're doing. That's what we're doing.
No, that's not what we doing. That's not what we.
I agree. We're not doing that. We not. Why are we doing that?
okay,
When something go down with your man, you want them to call you. And you want to be able to handle it. No, they ain't. Not no spiritual, nothing. Nobody calling you for that. Let me tell y'all what had happened.
Tell them, Monica, because they don't know.
Let me tell you, I was married almost 9 years, and what I loved most about it was it bound out everything and everybody else in a lot of ways. And I think it also has to be. It has to be looked at in a lot of manners because number one, you can make your marriage by law be what you want it to be. Y'all sit down and work out the paperwork for it to be that. For it to be, if you want to keep financial split, if you want to keep certain things separated, if you want to keep
Listen to what she's saying. This is a woman, like she said, that has been married for 9 years. 9 years. 9 years. Mind you, they dated before they got married, y'all. So 9 years and more. She's been in a relationship longer than 10 years. She knows. She knows. That's a thing too about women of this generation. We need to stop trying to create new rules too, and sometimes listening to the older women, like our elders. Not just women, but just men, people in general. We need to start listening to our elders more. And maybe things wouldn't be so complicated.
paperwork out because listen, my ex-husband was in a car accident that almost killed him. And he didn't wake up to say who to call or what to do. And I was able to come in and be there and take, they're not calling you because you spiritually married.
Exactly. They're going to call his mama. His mama not there, they're going to call his daddy. You get what I'm saying? That's not how that works, y'all. Whenever there's like emergencies, real emergencies, they're going to call their relative. They're not going to call his mistress. They're not going to call his side chick. They're not going to call anybody. Well, this is what the side chick will say. Well, I live there and we've been dating for years and, you know, he bought me cars and businesses and everybody know we together. That's so But the law says, the law doesn't conform around you. The law is what it is. And if something happens to that man, there's nothing you can do about it. And if he ends up dying, they're gonna tell you to get out his house. They about to split that property up to his kids. You better hope he has a will and put your name in it, because that's the only way you get something. But if he don't, you're not getting nothing. And it's not about getting anything or anything, but it's the fact that if somebody loves you, they would want to call you their wife. And same thing for a man. If a woman loves you, she would want to be called your wife. Any woman that is okay with being with you and not wanting to be your wife, that is not somebody you should be with. I'm sorry. They don't love you enough. If that woman found a man that she is truly in love with, you can't tell me that there's not one woman in the world that would want to get married, that would not want to get married to a man that they're in love with, who checks off all the boxes. Like, what?
So there's a whole lot up under that law that is very important. It was very important that, you know, when we got divorced, he didn't want to be divorced, but because we got married for the right reasons, in the midst of the divorce, none of the wrong things played a part. We didn't fight over any money. I asked for nothing, he asked for nothing, and that was that. And that's why we have a mutual respect now.
Because I married the right people, you know? A lot of people don't marry the right people. You know? They're not marrying for the right reasons. That's why. These people, especially Instagram models, Instagram thoughts, these women, these baby mamas, these women that are known for being baby mamas and not really anything, really. It's like, why would they want to get married when men have given so much to a woman that isn't traditional, doesn't have morals and values under God, doesn't take marriage seriously? Because these women laugh at marriage like it's a joke. They think it's funny.
That remains amicable. I know everybody can't do that. So what I would say, because we never had a prenup or paperwork, anybody that know me for real know I don't need that.
Yeah.
She a real woman. Not anybody can live up to that expectation. For a lot of thoughts, Instagram models, whatever, baby mamas, whatever, that are like in the limelight, celebrity wise, they know they can't live up to the expectation of what being a wife actually is. It is actually scary for them, so they actually run away from it. You know, even if they do have a good man that wants to get married and shows that they want to be with him, they're just scared. So Monica, a real one.
Now, I haven't been married but once.
Right.
I'm
now,
just
what would you do the
speaking
second
to
time?
that. The second time, I would do the same thing I did the first time. Because, I mean, it's how I feel, it's what I believe, and I'm not saying that works for everybody, but if the concern is some of the things that happen under the law, then work it out and write it out.
But they're not concerned about their partner's health if something was wrong with them and they need to make the decision over him to make sure he's okay. They're concerned about everything else but that, which lets me know that's not something you or somebody you should marry. The man should not marry that woman. Because if we're living together for years, we need to be married. We have kids together under this house, right? I want to be able to know that if you get hurt, that I can help in some way, you know?
So that is there.
I think what it is that
I want your last name.
I heard
Give it to me. My daddy got sons. Get gone, change it.
I heard so many bad things about marriage, and I didn't grow up like in a household with like my mama and daddy. And then the man that was around, he was a terrible man to my mama. So like, I don't even know.
Bro, what that got to do with you? understand what you've seen, what you've grown up to see, but other people's relationship have nothing to do with you. You create your own relationship, create your own life, create your own marriage, create your own love, create your own kids, create your own household, create your own traditions. And you can't do that unless you get married. You can't change the circumstances, the scenarios, if you don't get married and get married for the right reasons. If you're getting married, if you're not wanting to get married because of trauma, then you need to heal that first. And you shouldn't drag somebody along with your trauma, not unless y'all had a conversation and they're willing to stick with you and help you through that to be able to one day get married the right way. But if you have that conversation with your partner and say, hey, I have a lot of issues I got to deal with before I can fully commit to a marriage, and we can create our own lives together without me bringing trauma in, then I think you should not choose me, you know? Or how do you feel about that, you know? It's less about cars, clothes, and money. Because when it comes to love, you can't be playing people and dragging people along because you can't heal your shit. You get what I'm saying? And you're doing yourself a disservice because you could be with a really good guy or a really good woman, but you lose them because of you.
What a real marriage looks like, you know, like I don't understand it. So to me, in my head, all I know is like bad stories of
people that don't understand something. They go out of their way to try to understand it if that's something that they really want, which leads me to believe that you don't really want marriage. I'm sorry. How was it anything else in your life you want, you figured out how to get? You figured out how to be with a guy that you love this long, money, right? You figured out how to have your own cooking show on YouTube. You figured out how to be relevant after all these years. But you can't figure out how to navigate the love, the marriage part. I think it's bullshit. I think it's bullshit.
being married and
But we know baby stories of people
ugly.
having kids and baby daddies. We know bad stories of people going
But you
together.
can't really come in time. You can't.
That's true. Look what Monica said. She said we know bad stories of people being baby mamas and. But you a baby mama, right? Oh, I love Monica, bro. That's what I'm saying. We need to start listening to our elders, bro, because that makes so much sense, bro. You a baby mama, and you won't scared then? Do you know how hard it is to raise a kid by yourself? Or not in a marriage, not necessarily by yourself, but not in a marriage, in the same household? Do you know how hard it is? And then be in a relationship with another man, with another man's child? But you're scared of committing to one guy? Does this make sense to you? I'm sorry, I'm doing a lot with my hands, but it's just like what? Being a baby mama is definitely hard. And there's a lot of women out here that make it look easy. But it's actually easier to have somebody to love and marry that could help you and love you and provide for you and be there for you through thick and thin than to be alone.
What can you do because you got a baby? I mean, nothing. But if you marry and we have a bad divorce, are you gonna come take my money?
There's ways to protect yourself.
But if your baby
I just said that if you get married, you can create your own contract so that way y'all won't take each other's money. She didn't listen to a word she said, bro. She not listening to anything, bro. This is why she's a baby mama. This is why she's not wiped up yet. None of what she said made no sense whatsoever. You have a grown woman that has been in a relationship for over 9 years, married, telling you that y'all can come up with a contract so that way y'all won't lose money from each other. if you really are concerned about that. Y'all can put whatever in the contract so that way y'all can love each other and give your all into the marriage without having to worry about anything. But she don't want to listen. And there's nothing you can do with that. There's nothing you can do with that mindset. And men, I want to be honest too. There are some women that can grow to change their mindset and be better. But they have to want it. They have to have elders they can talk to. They have to have, like, you know, she could very much change her mind down the line. But I just hope it won't be too late. And
on your birth certificate, if they want to be problematic, they can be problematic there too. That is law binding.
How about coming to get the kid? Because you could come
Or fighting for the kid. You ain't giving your son up. You be somewhere crying, cussing. I'll be watching your 45-minute rant like, damn. I might need to reach out. I ain't talking about for the weekend. I ain't talking about for the weekend. When they want to be, if somebody wants to be problematic, they can be problematic with whatever piece of your life you give them. Make your marriage what you want it to be. If you want to do a spiritual ceremony, I'll celebrate that with you too. But mama not doing that.
No, I agree.
Somebody gonna have to give me their name.
I agree.
Yeah, and we gonna work out
what you said, so we can work out.
yeah, I want to be somebody's wife. You know, I want my kids to come home to a marriage. You know, I want that. I want that.
Paperwork.
Yeah, now you break it down like that.
It's different. Like, it sounds different. Like, just have it to
there
where.
are many ways to do it. I have many friends that have been married and divorced just as quietly as I was. By the time it was in the news that I was getting divorced, I was divorced.
Wow.
It was done. Mm-hmm. And I didn't make it messy. And I think also the way that I mother and the way that I handled things with him, he respected and he reciprocated.
But that's why it wasn't messy, because he knew what kind of woman she was. You know what I'm saying? Marriages that end well is because two people amicably see each other. They see your heart. They see each other's, like, I get it. Like, I love you. There's no way I could be with a man for 10 years and have some vendetta against him when we get divorced. Like, no, I still love you. It's just that we weren't able to work this out. And I don't like that. I don't like divorces. It makes me cry, you know? It's really sad when people get divorced and families split up. But I hope that she does find somebody that she can marry again. She said she was looking for, or she's open to, a second marriage.
I'm not saying that happens with everybody, but that was the blessing in my situation.
Yeah.
But I also think because it all started with nothing but love. It wasn't about, because I don't need anybody to secure me. I've been securing me since I was 12.
Right.
So we won't even let it be that. But I feel like if you want to do it, you can make everything in the paperwork say.
And she looks so good. I'm sorry, y'all. She looks good, classy. Like, Monica is the epitome of what you want to look like when you are grown and mature. Right? Like, look at her. This is somebody that I would want my daughter, if I had a daughter or kids, to look up to. She's carrying herself very well. She dressed nice. She's talking good. She's very smart. Somebody you can learn from, genuinely.
Securing me since I was 12.
Right.
So we won't even let it be that. But I feel like if you want to do it, you can make everything in the paperwork say what you want to say. We do it with contracts.
Yeah,
and people now will say, like, I have somebody very close to me that's like, oh, I'm never getting married. It's the worst contract written by a man. I say, rewrite it.
Oh, but that's so true. What she said is so true.
You get in
Contract.
business with these Negroes every day and you're excited to do it, but you're afraid to do it with me. So
With
for
your
me,
partner.
the next person I'm with, if I don't mean enough to you for you to change my last name, and we can sit down and work that out if that makes you more comfortable.
But that's what I'm saying. Yeah. Like, we as adults, we gotta be, like, we gotta make shit make sense. You'll sleep around with somebody for years, swap saliva. A lot of them, you'll let him have side chicks, and you'll have conversations about him cheating and stuff. But you won't sit down and have a conversation of what marriage looks like to you and what you need to get there. Like, You'll sign a contract with random men in the industry that don't care about you at all, but you can't sign a contract with a man that you're in love with. Like, she's making so much sense. Like,
if I don't mean enough, I don't want to be there, because I'm not about to be going together 10, 20, 30 years. I just can't do it. Now, in my younger day, I was really okay with it. But there's a certain level of responsibility and connection. And
that's what I was saying. There's a certain level of responsibility that some women just do not have. They just do not have. Or they're not willing to take on that. Yeah, you know, it takes a certain type of man, not to just put this all on women. It takes a certain type of man to have patience and to deal like work with his woman. You know, if this is somebody that you really want to marry with, this woman, you gotta work with her. You gotta put in that work with her and make her feel comfortable and bring up these conversations and be calm, patient, no yelling, don't fight about it, and just really take the time to get her and y'all where y'all need to be able to get to a point of, okay, now it's time for us to sit down and talk about marriage. I feel like a lot of the times women, we have more topics about marriage than I see a lot of men, and that's so true. Like, men, y'all need to get together and have these conversations about marriage too with your elders and find out what you need to do in order to have a successful marriage. You know, some women are trying to do the work.
us to have conversations that normally you wouldn't, because when I couldn't stand for myself, he had to stand for me. Right. When I was sick and, you know, I was out for a while, I had some different things happen that I wasn't prepared for. I didn't even know I had endometriosis. He had to stand for me. When he was in the car accident,
you stood for me.
Right. Yes.
And that makes you cry so bad. It's like, man, if this person is willing to help me while I'm sick and I'm down, I broke my leg, like, we're definitely getting married. Like, what do you mean? Like, you know, it makes you cry how much somebody loves you. But yeah, thank you for watching. How fun is Jasmine? Leave a comment, like, and subscribe. And I'll see you in my next video. Bye.